Getting into real estate, it really does seem like the dream job, doesn't it? But what's it really like during that first critical year? Well, we're about to pull back the curtain. This is a survival guide for new agents, and we're going to give you the unfiltered truth all through the hard-earned lessons of one agent's story.
I mean, the promise is huge, right? Flexible hours, unlimited income potential. You get to be your own boss. That's exactly what drew in our guide for this journey, an agent named Corey Chumley. He jumped into the business full of excitement. But as he found out real fast, excitement alone doesn't pay the bills. So, yeah, forget everything you've seen on those polished reality TV shows. The reality for most new agents, it's a tough uphill battle. We're going to walk you through the common traps and pitfalls that can totally make or break a career before it even has a chance to start. So, for Corey, his first big move was picking a brokerage. And wow, did that choice teach him a lesson. And fast.
Okay, so picture this. This is the trap so many new agents fall right into. On one hand, you've got this shiny offer of a 100% commission split. No desk fees. You keep all your money. Sounds amazing, right? But the harsh reality, the one Corey walked right into, is that this usually means you are completely, totally on your own. And Corey, he just lays it out there, plain and simple. I paid no fees. I got nothing. That dream deal of not paying a dime meant he got exactly that in return. Nothing. No training, no one to ask questions, no support system. That trade-off, it cost him way more than any fee ever would have.
And what does getting nothing actually look like in the real world? Well, for Corey, it looked like this. A broker who was never available and feeling like a total stranger in his own office. The result was his first 6 months were, as he put it, just plain rough, with basically no business to show for all his effort. So after 6 months of basically getting nowhere, Corey knew. He knew something had to give. This wasn't just a slow start. This felt like a dead end. And his next move? It turned out to be the single most important decision of his entire career. You know, the whole path of his career completely changed with just one single decision. He moved to a different brokerage. And this really shines a light on a huge truth for new agents. Your environment, the people you're surrounded by every day, that can matter more than almost anything else. And the difference is just night and day. He goes from this place with zero support to another that's all about training, accountability, and, feeling like a team. The whole focus shifted away from the commission split and onto having the tools and the team to actually go out there and succeed. So, what was the secret sauce here? Well, it really boiled down to two key things. First, he finally had a broker who was actually there, who would teach him things and hold him accountable. And second, just the energy of being around other successful agents, seeing them making calls, closing deals, that created this buzz, this culture of motivation that was just totally missing before. So after going through that trial by fire in his first year, Corey came out the other side with some seriously powerful insights. His experience gives us a clear playbook for anyone who's just starting out, so you can avoid making the same mistakes. And looking back, Corey's advice isn't just about making little changes here and there. Nope, it's about a total shift in how you approach the whole thing. He's boiled it all down to 3 critical must-do steps for any new agent. All right, here's the playbook. First up, save way more money than you think you need. Having that financial cushion makes every deal less of a life or death situation, so you can make smarter choices. Second, find the right support, a brokerage that's actually going to invest in you. And third, you have to truly understand and accept that this is a long game. And that last point is so important that it even has a name, the seed sowing process. You've got to wrap your head around the idea that your entire first year might just be about planting seeds, building your network, learning the ropes, and establishing trust. The actual harvest from all that work, it might not come into your second year or maybe even later. So here's how that timeline usually plays out. Year 1 is all about planting those seeds. Then, by year 2, you start to see that hard work sprout into actual business. And from year 3 on, that's when you can start harvesting a steady stream of referrals. But you see, it's a process, and it absolutely demands patience. If there's one giant takeaway from Corey's story, it's this. You have to completely change your perspective. Being successful in real estate is not some get-rich-quick scheme. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And it takes real grit and a long-term strategy. Early on, another agent gave Corey this piece of advice that sounds so simple, but it's actually huge.
He said the barrier to get into real estate is pretty low, but the failure rate is incredibly high. If you can just manage to survive those first 2 brutal years when almost everybody else quits, you're already way ahead of the curve.
But here's the thing. Survival isn't about just sitting back and waiting. It's an active process. It's about building the one thing your business absolutely cannot live without, a solid foundation of trust. Sticking around in this industry for the long haul is a direct result of earning people's confidence, one person at a time.
It's just like real estate coach Rodney Simmons says, trust is to be earned. People aren't just going to hand it over, especially when we're talking about their single largest financial asset. You have to prove, deal by deal, that you're the person they can count on. And you got to earn that trust everywhere. With your clients, obviously, but also with your entire network. Corey even mentions that at first, his own friends and family were kind of skeptical. He had to prove it to them, too. So, at the end of the day, it's not really about whether you can pass a test. The real question is about your mindset. Are you really prepared to plant the seeds, to build the trust, and to play the long game? Because that, right there, is what it really takes to survive and eventually thrive in the world of real estate.